and usually we have this under a document camera, just so everybody knows. And we would have written that on the list under document camera, but we couldn't get it to work.
We couldn't show you.
Okay, so what we want you to do is we're going to give you a minute and a half to answer that prediction question. Is there a relationship between the radius of a disk and its mass? And justify that.
Timer set. Make sure you use complete sentences because you are answering a question.
Got about 50 seconds left. Make sure you answer that question completely, and then when you do, go ahead and put your pencil down, please. All right, it looks like everybody's finished, so we're going to go ahead and end that. All right, now, what we want you to do is tuck that idea away, okay? We're going to work today through a lab to see if your prediction is correct. Okay, so don't go back and change it. We'll have a chance to review it and revise your prediction at the end of class. What I want you to do is in your groups, we're going to number off 1 and 2. So if you are on the left of your group, you're going to be 1. If you're on the right, you're going to be 2. Okay, so raise your hand up. Let me see if you're a 1. Okay, now, if you're a 1, you are going to be the resource manager. So what I'd like for you to do at the top of your page, above the name, location, put an RM for resource manager. And then put a 1 next to that. Okay, number 2, you're going to be the task manager. So put a TM and a number 2. Okay? Now, what we're going to do today, we're going to be cutting out, measuring, weighing, and recording data. Okay? So what we're going to do is if you are the resource manager, you are going to be the cutter and the ruler measurer. So you're going to use the ruler to measure. If you're the task manager, you're going to be using the scales. And you're also going to be the official recorder of your team's data. Okay? And we've got that on the board for you in case you forget. Okay, now, if you'll pay attention to the directions part, the Shrinking Targets Lab, right underneath where you make the prediction, we've got a table there. But what is our table missing? Words. What kind of words do we use on our tables, Casey?
Categories for what we're going to collect, the data we're going to collect.
Very good. Categories for what we're going to collect. Okay, so what do you think we're going to collect in here? Based on what I just told you we're going to do, and looking at
Mass and radius. So how can we somehow transfer that to our table so we can keep a pretty organized listing of all of the data that we collect? Which is which? Which column's going to be mass, which column's going to be radius, and what do they represent in our mathematical situation? Molly?
Radius will be on the left side for independent variable.
And what did you call that?
Independent.
Independent, what's another way we can represent an independent variable?
The letter X.
Okay? So our radius is going to be our independent. It's going to be our x value. So what's going to be our y value or our dependent? What's left over? Thanks, guys. Speak up. So that's going to be our dependent, and we can represent that as a y. So now, do we have an accurate table to where we can keep a clear listing so we don't get our data points mixed up? Okay. Make sure you have that on your paper before you start your lab.
Now, what's one more thing